This is how a MAGA lie spreads like wildfire. I actually watched this happen in real time and saw the damage it was causing. Watch.
Video, but it is literally a matter of life and death for the people of North Carolina. So my name is Jonathan Howard. I'm a member of the Florida State Guard Special Missions Unit, and I'm also up here with Aerial Recovery, a nonprofit. I came up here on Sunday with Aerial Recovery before we even got activated. We flew up here and then we got activated, which is great. I have my team up here working as well. Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you everything that's happening from the ground, what I'm actually seeing, because what they're telling you is complete bullshit on the news, and these politicians don't have a fucking clue and they're lying. And I'll say this now, and I'll say it at the end of the video. The only thing I need from this video is helicopters. If I have helicopters, I can save lives. Without helicopters, I can't reach these people. It doesn't matter how many chainsaws and trucks I got.
His name is John Howard. He is, I guess, a private helicopter pilot. And as far as I could tell, he didn't have any official duties as far as rescue in North Carolina. He says he came up from Florida, as you heard, with a nonprofit group to help North Carolina hurricane victims, which is admirable. The problem is the minute he arrived with his buddies, he began spreading disinformation to desperate people in North Carolina online with these videos. He said the government was nowhere to be found, that government rescue operations were not happening, which was all false. And here he is again.
So there's been a couple of idiots saying that I'm lying and I'm trying to get all this clout, that there's nothing but National Guard birds and military birds working everywhere. Where are they at? I'm looking. Zeb, Charlie, where's the National Guard birds? Where they at? They ain't here. Where's the active duty birds? Where's the government birds? Huh? Tell me. I'm looking. Let me know, because I'm actually here on the ground.
The thing is, Mr. Howard wasn't telling the truth. National Guard helicopters were flying nonstop rescue and supply missions. Those pilots just didn't have time to stop and make Instagram or TikTok videos to bitch about the Biden administration and quote failures of the federal government because they were too busy saving lives. Look, here in the comments of his own videos, people were calling him out. This person says, they, meaning the pilots, are working their asses off. My brother has been flying 12-hour days as North Carolina National Guard pilot every single day since Saturday, rescuing people. Another person says, you are at the Hickory Airport, because he's saying he doesn't see any of the helicopters. The military helicopters are all over at the Asheville Airport. We can see them all over the sky each day. Why are you purposely spreading this misinformation? Why can't we admit that the military and civilians are saving people in our mountains? But at a ratio of about 10-1 in the comments, and he got a lot of views. I mean, one of his videos got well over 1 million views. The comments were full of the MAGA loyal believing this disinformation that Mr. Howard was posting. They were echoing and repeating his disinformation that the Biden administration had abandoned the victims of Hurricane Helene, that the state government in North Carolina had left these people to die. And that is not true. Here are actual North Carolinians, not Florida men, who live in the mountains, who were responding to MAGA lies like that and the spread of disinformation.
The Army Corps of Engineers is here. The Marines are here. I didn't even know that was a thing that they did, but they're here. Interestingly enough, there are people here from all over the country. There are people here from Canada. So anyone who comes on this app and tells you that we are just not receiving help, we are. Do we need more help? Yes, we do. We need help in the form of awareness. We need help in the form of monetary donations. Needs change. Initially, what we needed was gas. What we needed was hygiene products. Those things are going to change over time. My biggest concern is people are going to forget about this in 2 weeks, and we're not going to continue to have the support that we have. And what we have is great. I am grateful for the support we have. But anyone coming on this app and telling you that we are bulldozing bodies and the government is coming in and usurping our property, that is not happening. It's not happening. I'm here. Those are the mountains. I'm North Carolina. I'm North Carolina native. I'm a paramedic. I am telling you right now please do not listen to the propaganda and the people who are using the death of our neighbors, our friends, and our family to tell you that this is some sort of political scheme. The government did not cause this hurricane. That's not a thing. Just stop. We're hurting. I mean, literally, as I'm talking right now, there's an osprey flying. I don't know if you can hear it. The one landed right there about an hour ago and dropped supplies. The government is here. And I think it's ironic that the same people who are fighting for less government and fighting to cut all of these programs are the ones who are criticizing the government and saying they're not here. Because they are here in the best capacity that they can be here. So if you're sitting at home with your running water, drinkable running water, in your warm, comfy bed or your warm sofa, just like shut the fuck up. You have nothing to say. You don't know what we're going through. You don't know what we've seen. We're not some pawn in some political scheme. We are people. We are people who have lost loved ones. We are people who are suffering. And yeah, stop it. I'm so fucking sick and tired of it.
And here's another one from a woman who was really, really fired up about the lies that MAGA is spreading about these disasters. And if you have sensitive ears, warning, she's got a lot to say, but she dropped some serious truth bombs. So put on your earmuffs.
Online right now and saying that FEMA's only giving out $750 in assistance, or that FEMA's out of money because they've been diverting it towards the border or for migrants, or that FEMA is confiscating donations and money. Fuck you. And I mean that to the depths of my soul with every fiber of my being. Because the only thing that tells me when you say shit like that is that you have been so fortunate to never have to use FEMA, to never have gone through something like this. I cannot describe to you the level of rage I have experienced over the last few days, watching y'all spread this mis and disinformation that will get people killed, that will keep people from getting the money and resources that they need to recover. There are multiple programs that you can apply for. Do you want to know how I know that? Because after Ian 2 years ago, that $750 is immediate assistance. That shit showed up in my account 6 hours after I applied for it. I applied for an SBA disaster loan for my business. There are multiple ways you can access money. There are multiple agencies. Do you want to know why FEMA is being tied to the border right now? Because it's under the control of the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. Do you want to know who did that? You can thank George W. Bush and Dick Cheney for that shit, because they did that after 9/11. FEMA's not running out of money because they're diverting it towards the border or for immigrants. They're out of money because Congress doesn't give them enough fucking money. If you're mad about the cap being set at $750 for emergency assistance, or that they're running out of money, call Congress. Take that fucking phone you recorded that shitty ass video on and call Congress. Call your senators, call your representatives, and let them know there needs to be supplemental emergency funding right now. There needs to be a disaster relief bill right fucking now. I would have loved to see this level of outrage and anger and righteous indignation 6 years ago when it took Congress 12 fucking months to pass a disaster relief bill after Hurricane Michael. The way that some of y'all will just get on the internet and say absolutely fucking anything. It's wild to me. Do you think people aren't going to fact check you? Do you think that there are people who haven't fucking lived this before? I don't know what goes through y'all's heads. You're like posting these videos for money, for clout, for your own selfish reasons, to suckle at the chode of some politician who doesn't give a fuck about you. They don't give a single solitary goddamn flying fuck about you. I cannot emphasize to you enough how much harm and damage you are doing by posting those things, saying those things, commenting those things, spreading that misinformation. You have no idea what these people are going through. You have no idea what the recovery looks like because you have never been through it before. This is barely scratching the surface. And you don't know that because you haven't been through it before.
Yet here was Mr. Howard continuing on his disinformation tour, spewing his MAGA falsehoods on the propaganda state TV, aka Fox News, making the life and death situations around these devastating hurricanes only worse.
We're looking for like SOS carbon mud. That's how we found the 87-year-old woman that was about to run out of oxygen. But there's just a complete failure of weak leadership here in North Carolina, the federal government. And it takes my strong leadership in Florida to send us up here. If it wasn't for DeSantis sending the State Guard Special Missions Unit up here, this never even would have happened. But there's just no support here. There's no leadership. When we meet these locals on the ground, they're asking like, oh, you're from the state guard? I'm like, oh, I'm from Florida. And they're like, where's North Carolina? You know, they're asking where their leadership is. They have no understanding of what's going on. And then we've even had officials here try to kick us out of Lake Lure, at a Chimney Rock. Nonsense stuff. They're asking me for my authorizations to be here. I mean, like, it's the most insane thing you would ever see. It's like they want these people to die.
Well, listen, I mean, there has to be some order. I get that. I understand that. But I just want to applaud you guys for what you're.
I mean, this is just the epitome of gaslighting and lying at a time when people are looking for information to help them and in many cases save lives. It's so flipping irresponsible. I don't know what Mr. Howard's agenda is. He says he came to help, which is great, but this is not helping. And Fox, as per usual, is pouring gasoline on the fire. Mr. Howard says no leadership, that only Governor Ron DeSantis was helping, which is laughable on its face. Mr. Climate Science Denier, who hasn't even participated in multiple programs that would help his own state, which is now under its second serious hurricane situation. And Donald Trump, by the way, Mr. Howard, wanted to shut the federal government down days before back-to-back Cat 4 and Cat 5 hurricanes, Helene and Milton. So here are the facts. Let me lay them out for you. President Biden approved aid to states that were in the paths of these devastating hurricanes before the governors even asked for it. Certainly that was the case in Florida as well as with North Carolina. And again, DeSantis, who is a climate science denier, got everything that he asked for and more. And he refused the invitation to tour the damage from Hurricane Helene when President Biden invited him, and he refused to take phone calls from Vice President Harris. So I'm not sure where Mr. Howard is getting this idea of DeSantis's leadership. And as for North Carolina, big guy, let me remind you that it was Governor Roy Cooper who was left begging for 99% of the disaster aid that he asked from then President Donald Trump, only to be denied that because he was a Democrat governor of the state at the time. So it is pretty effing rich of you to accuse the Biden administration of no leadership when the federal government has absolutely stepped up. And all of these red Republicans, like McMaster of South Carolina, Brian Kemp, even DeSantis, who has reluctantly admitted that he has not gone without, and others, they have said that they have had everything that they have asked for. And also, let me remind you of the facts here, that the federal government has been there. FEMA has been on the ground. There has been no lack of assistance from the feds, with the exception of the GOP. The Congress that is running the House of Representatives right now. They have gutted and defunded FEMA, and they have refused, as of this moment, to return to Washington to approve a federal disaster aid package of $18.8 billion. And every Florida Republican voted no. In fact, here's a list of all the Republicans in Congress who voted no as we are facing climate disaster after climate disaster. So if you're talking about leadership in your home state of Florida, just look at all your people who voted no on more federal aid. Like, the hypocrisy is just rich with you people in the MAGA cult. And Speaker MAGA Mike Johnson says that there is no rush to move on looking at this federal aid disaster package until after the election. Wow, isn't that convenient? So, where there is no leadership, please, Mr. Howard, look in the mirror. And if you can't say something factual, please don't say anything at all. My name is Suri Crowe, and you are watching the MeidasTouch Network. Let's stay safe, vote blue, look for the facts and not disinformation, because, man, it is just going crazy out there and it is harmful. All right, peace.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.